Is the 2 versus 2 format finally making a return into competitive StarCraft? Will Zest finally retire? And how long is the ball actually in play in the average NFL match? Stay tuned to figure out the answer to all of these questions in today's episode of StarCraft Today. StarCraft Today. Your favorite StarCraft news show. Last week, Zest surprised friend and foe by winning the GSL Super Tournament Season 1. He did it in a pretty decisive fashion as well against Maru in the semi-finals with a quick 3-1, introducing us to some really cool Oracle into Blink play. We have seen Zest play this type of Oracle Blink in the past, often with proxy gates as well, but this time he took it to a new level. In every single game he opened up Oracle and went into Blink, and the build order just looked so solid. His execution into the mid game, absolutely fabulous as well, and he knows his timing so well, managing to kill Maru really almost every single time before he was capable of setting up. And the 29-year-old Protoss made it look kind of easy. Now, obviously, I've tested it myself. It isn't easy, as I went 0-6 on the ladder with it. But Zest, he managed to take out Maru. In the lower semi-final, we saw Zaun versus Dark. And Zaun, so far in this tournament, had looked very prepared. And once again, in the first game, he opened up with a cannon rush. And honestly, a cannon rush that I don't think Dark could have held if it wasn't for this one fatal error. Zaun accidentally cancelled the cannon that was inside of the pylon wall rather than cancelling one of the pylons that wasn't necessary anymore, resulting in, Zaun cannon rushing without cannons. Now, I know some of you don't know a lot about cannon rushes, but it is quite important that you do have a cannon with the cannon rush. And as Zaun didn't have any, cannon rush failed, he ends up losing the game as well. The rest of the series, I think Dark kind of dominated, just looking very strong, and Zaun not quite looking up to speed. Moving on to the finals for perhaps Zest's final ever major tournament, as he won't be at Intel Extreme Masters Katowice. Taking on Dark, he honestly put on quite a show, opening up with a 4 Oracle opener on Curious Minds, going into Blink, defending all-ins very well. It's kind of funny to see that Dark tried to all-in so much, even though to me it seemed like he was stronger in the late game, and Zest seemed a little bit weaker there. Zest also throwing an almost unlosable game on Blackburn, making it closer than it should have been. I do believe the series should have ended at a 4-2, but Zest recalling straight into his opponent's entire army, getting everything knurled and then losing anything, resulting in a loss, tying up the series, and at least making the finals a little bit more exciting for all of us. Zest did manage to end up winning that game number 7 as well, and won the Super Tournament Season 1. So big congratulations to Zest. Like I mentioned before, I do believe that this is his final major tournament. I don't think he's going to play much else, maybe one more GSL season. No one really knows. Apparently, from what I read on forums, even the manager of the team doesn't quite know when Zest has his military service. But I guess that kind of just adds to the mystery of Zest. From the start of humanity, nations have been fighting each other. But nowadays, we have a very sophisticated way of doing that. Rather than going to war instead, we have the Nation Wars hosted by the French O Gaming TV. And there's a little bit of a change in the format, which I thought was pretty cool. Rather than having 3-player teams, there now are 2-player teams. All players will play each other, and there also will be 2 versus 2 matches, which allows for a lot of specific preparation, and players that perhaps aren't as good in 1-on-1, these teams can maybe make a bit of a splash in the 2-on-2. This is a lot cooler, in my opinion, than the all-kill format, where often you have these kind of one-man teams, Serral in Finland being way too good, Clem carrying France, or Rainer carrying Italy, is now going to be basically impossible, as you either need to work together in the 2-on-2, or the weaker player of the team needs to win their own 1-on-1 match. We don't have much more information except for this. I guess we have all the information. We also have the start date and the end date. I'm really looking forward to this Nation War 7, actually. I've always enjoyed this type of country competition, and I'm looking forward to see what the 2-on-2 format can bring to competitive StarCraft. This week's Game of the Week is a very special one, and it's close to my heart. It's Max Specs versus Harstem on Glittering Ashes, a 30-minute slugfest PvP. Now, people sometimes say that PvP is boring or coin flippy, but I think this is one of the most fun PvPs that I've played in a while, and that I also think people saw. A lot of people are like, "Wow, this is crazy, this is great." High level, lots of action in this game, DT run bys, and in the end, a winner that everyone loves. as MaxPax managed to take me out with a pretty decent comeback. But for me, that was the game of the week, not just personally, but also after watching it back, I was like, oh, that looks real cool. So I'd recommend you all to watch it. We'll have the replay in the description. Don't worry. As always, there were 3 ESL Open Cups, starting with the Sunday on Korea, in which Zest showed to be absolutely supreme, taking out Ragnarok 3-2 in the semis, taking out Solar 3-2 in the finals as well. And with that win, Zest just adds another ESL Open Cup win onto his massive list of achievements in the past year. Moving on to Europe, we saw Clem coming back to pretty decent Terran versus Zerg shape, perhaps similar to how we saw him a year ago, where he looked practically unbeatable in the matchup. Now he took out Raynor 3-0 in the finals. Raynor perhaps not quite in Intel Extreme Masters Katowice shape yet, but Clem just looking very, very strong in this matchup. And he said he felt confident against Protoss as well. He feels good against Terran, so perhaps there is something there in Katowice for the young Frenchie. At least he managed to win this ESL Open Cup, so that's another $250 that he gets to add onto his already pretty large bank account. Moving on to America, we saw the man, the myth, the legend, the machine, Zest, doing it again, of course. Going for the double, taking out MaxPax 3-1 in the finals and winning another ESL Open Cup. I actually read a pretty cool fact the other day, and that is that since Intel Extreme Masters Katowice 2021, Zest has played 2,298 official matches of StarCraft 2. He has won, I believe, 79 tournaments and 39 second place finishes in the past year. For comparison, I managed to get 1 second place finish in the past year. So, yeah, there's a difference there in what people achieve in a year time. And Zest has achieved a lot. He played a crap ton of online tournaments. Basically anything he could get his hands on, he played. And he won, well, basically a tournament every 3 days in the past year or so, or 3.5 days. Very impressive result. When he retires, well, at some point he'll need to retire to go to the military. It'll be a very sad day for Protoss, and it will be a very sad day for online tournaments as well, because having Zest in a tournament, of course, is good for the tournament, for the viewers, and for the players as well. That leaves us with the clip of the week, and this week there were a lot of things that had potential. We could have the cancelled cannon out of Zaun. We could have the traitor cannon out of Zest. But instead, I went for this absolute beauty, and that was the Disruptor that didn't quite belong to the Protoss. Enjoy.
Raynor and Clem were like the most promising players, right? And obviously they turned out to be pretty good. Oh my god, oh my god, oh my god! That was beautiful!
Alright, that's going to be it for today, but not before I tell you how long the ball is in play in the average NFL game. In 2010, the Wall Street Journal did an analysis, and they managed to figure out that an average game of American football takes 3 hours and 12 minutes, while the ball is only in play for 11 minutes. So that is a very, very small percentage. If I was capable of doing math, I would have calculated that, but sadly I'm not, so I'll leave it to you guys. All right, with that weird little factoid, I'll leave all of you. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed this episode of StarCraft today, and I'll see y'all next time. Bye-bye.